Week 10, NFL Power Rankings. Now this week I'm going to try something a little different, just an FYI. I have a friend of mine whose son is 11 years old, and he is obsessed with football. And he'd love for his son to be able to watch my power ranking videos, but I curse too much. I know I do. So I'm going to try right now to make this video without cursing, not even one time. Let's see how that goes. All right, here we go. Number 32, Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, Josh McDaniels really needs to be the next head coach fired. He has weapons. He has a lot of weapons. How is this team 2-7? Seriously. The better question is, how is this team losing at home to the Colts? A Colts team who has a brand new, inexperienced head coach. A Colts team who has been experimenting with their quarterbacks. I just don't get it. Now, for weeks now, there's been really cryptic messages during interviews after the games from players. Specifically, Derek Carr. And if you saw his post-game interview after the end of this game here on Sunday, you saw him get real emotional, fight back tears. It almost looked fake, but he started it off saying that he loves Josh McDaniels. But he also implied that a lot of players are doing what they need to do to sleep at night, to practice. And he gave the impression that not everybody's on that same page. Josh McDaniels needs to go, and I think we all know it. Number 31, Houston Texans. All right. Davis Mills is not the quarterback that I've been promoting for over a year now. I have to admit that I have been wrong this entire time. You might want to save this video because it's not often that I'm wrong. If you watched any of this game, my dude made some seriously terrible passes, even when he wasn't under pressure. That includes the interception he threw in the corner of the end zone into double coverage, where the receiver had no separation whatsoever. I'd love to know what his thought process was on that pass. It's a really bad time to be a Texans fan for sure. The only silver lining that is there, the only mental relief you get as a Texans fan, is knowing that as of right now, you hold the number 1 draft pick. With your record, you're the worst team in football, and you currently are on the clock if the season ended right now. And I'm willing to bet that next year, the Houston Texans are going to have a very young, a very new starting quarterback for the 2023 season. Number 30, Carolina Panthers. So P.J. Walker gets benched last week, and they bring in Baker Mayfield to replace him in the second half. And this week, they go right back to P.J. Walker. How does this man have confidence to walk down the street, let alone play a football game after getting benched for Baker Mayfield? I don't understand what's going on in Carolina, but I can tell you that that's not even the strangest storyline that's going on with the Panthers. So let's get this scenario straight. The Panthers trade away Christian McCaffrey, arguably one of the best running backs in the league, at least top 3. And that's when they become a running team, a run-first team? Really? What is happening? I can't figure it out. Panthers get a win over the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime. Everybody wants that. I don't get it. I don't want to get it, to be honest with you. Number 29, Denver Broncos. So the Broncos come out looking actually pretty decent against the Titans and build a 10-0 lead. Not gonna lie, it had me wondering if the Broncos still had some life left. Despite having zero run game and an offensive line not protecting him worth a damn, Russell Wilson was making some nice throws. And the Broncos were moving the ball pretty well. Defensively, the Broncos forced 6 punts on the first 6 possessions of the game. Well, this is new, but then the second half came along. And the Broncos offense started sputtering because their one-dimensional attack just not working anymore. Ultimately, the game slipped away from the Broncos. There was no riding by Russ being done on Sunday in Nashville, I'll tell you that. Number 28, Jacksonville Jaguars. Opening kickoff was an onside kick by the Jaguars, and it was recovered. I absolutely love this call, love that it happened. However, you make a bold move like that, you need to do something with it. The Jaguars walked away with 0 points after that bold play. In addition to that, the Jaguars beat the Chiefs 3-0 in the turnover battle. That's friggin' huge. The Jaguars knew who they were playing. They knew they were playing the Chiefs. They knew that they had to pull out all stops if they wanted to compete in this game. And truth be told, they had a decent game plan and it was working. But all this shows you is that the Jaguars' best game still loses to a mediocre game by the Chiefs. It just shows you the size of the gap between the Jaguars and the elite teams of the NFL and how much work they yet still have to do. Number 27, New Orleans Saints. So it looks like the Saints are sticking with Andy Dalton. I honestly really thought after his performance last Monday night that the Saints were going to go back to Jameis Winston. I think my exact words were that the sun has set on the time between Andy Dalton and the New Orleans Saints. I was wrong. Again. And as I admitted that I was wrong about Davis Mills earlier in this video, I'm not wrong very often, but this is twice in one video. You might want to save this video because it doesn't happen often. The Saints offense is pretty bad. The run game just absolutely they didn't even come out of the locker room, did they? And Andy Dalton really didn't do anything to give this offense a chance. My boy had 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, including one to seal the game. It is not good times in New Orleans. Number 26. Cleveland Browns. So the last game that the Browns played was actually on Halloween night when they put a thumping on the Cincinnati Bengals. And quite honestly, on Sunday against the Dolphins, they came out looking like they were just thriving on that. They came out, they were up 7-0 early in this game. And then they gave up 24 unanswered points. Game was over from there. Over the last few games, the Browns defense was actually starting to show up. Actually starting to play. And then they played Miami on Sunday. And all that just, poof, vanished. Bro, the Browns didn't force the Dolphins to punt not one time in this game. You're not winning many football games like that. This was yet another step in the wrong direction for the Browns. And they are starting to watch their season just slip away. Number 25, Los Angeles Rams. So Matthew Stafford was put in concussion protocol earlier this week. And it was, wait for it, John Wolford, who got the start on Sunday against the Cardinals. I'm thinking if you didn't watch this game or watch highlights or hear anything about it, what you're thinking about John Wolford starting for the Rams, yeah, that's pretty much how the game turned out. Then it got worse. Cooper Kupp sustained an ankle injury, and it's reported he's going to miss some time. This could mean, this could mean the end of the season for the defending Super Bowl champs. Not like they were doing anything anyway. Number 24, Detroit Lions. You know, I had a conversation this weekend because somebody that I was in the room with said Detroit, and they got judged. I always say Detroit. Most people say Detroit. I don't know who's right, who's wrong. It's absolutely irrelevant to this video, so I don't know why I'm going down this rabbit hole. But it's the Detroit Lions. Anyway, so we are halfway through Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Lions, second season as head coach. And on Sunday, he took his team into Chicago and earned himself his first road win ever. And you know what? They did it with grit. That same grit that he would not shut up about in Hard Knocks during the preseason. It's about time, buddy. Bro, the Lions went into the fourth quarter against the Bears down 24-10 and somehow walked away with a 1-point victory. Man, that is not Detroit Lion-like. Rookie sensation Aiden Hutchinson, that's my boy. He made his presence felt late in the game when it mattered most. But the top play of the game for sure was the pick six, which, by the way, was the first pick six that the Lions have had in 60 games. Now, this win moves the Lions out of the basement of the NFC North and inserts the Bears in that last place role. Sure, I'm sure it's temporary, but it's been quite a long time since the Lions have not been in last place. Number 23, Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is out with a hamstring injury, so insert veteran Colt McCoy in the starting lineup. Man, it's a good thing they were playing against a struggling Rams team. But you know what? The veteran quarterback that Colt McCoy he went out there and attempted 37 passes. He completed 26 of those passes. Gained himself 230 yards, but most importantly, he got a win for this Cardinals team who desperately needed one. I feel like it's worth mentioning Rondale Moore is becoming a up-and-coming star. Watch out for him. Number 22, Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, the Steelers get a win over the Saints and improve their record to 3-6. But the Steelers are actually 2-0 this year when TJ Watt is in the game. Welcome back, TJ. Now, Watt didn't record a sack in this game, but he definitely put his imprint on this game. Because you know what? This Steelers defense just looked different. They played with energy. They played with purpose. They had 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter to seal the game. And offensively, running back Najee Harris actually had a game where he looked like Najee Harris. This was a nice win for a struggling team. Number 21, Chicago Bears. Justin Fields out here still continuing to turn heads with both his arm and his leg. 1 week after he sets an NFL record with 178 rushing yards for a quarterback. This man follows it up by going out and rushing for 147. This is absolutely insane. This Bears offense is clicking right now. And earlier in the year, I talked a lot of junk about how bad their offense is. So here we are, less than 10 minutes into my video, and I'm admitting that I am wrong for the 3rd time. I think there is a theme to this week's power rankings about how wrong I really am. Something tells me that there's going to be more coming. Anyway, Justin Fields had a nice connection with tight end Cole Kmet, who basically was absent all season long until about 2 weeks ago, roughly around the time that I dropped him from my fantasy team. I'm sitting over here talking about the Bears, hyping them up as if they won this game, remembering now that they actually lost. They lost to the Lions because despite Justin Fields having some really high highs in this game, he did throw a pick 6 late in the game. He did get sacked twice on that final drive. The Bears were called for 9 penalties, most of which that occurred in very big moments of games where they hurt so bad. And now the Bears find themselves in last place of the NFC North. Wow. Number 20. Atlanta Falcons. So as I mentioned last week, the Atlanta Falcons were establishing themselves as one of the better rushing teams in the NFL. And guess what? I was wrong. This week, against the Panthers on Thursday Night Football, they come out throwing the ball. It's a weird strategy when your quarterback is Marcus Mariota. I mean, I suppose it's not a bad thing. I mean, you got some weapons offensively. You got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, both of which really need to get going. But what is so confusing is they played this game as a pass-first offense. And then they found themselves in positions like inside their own 20-yard line, and on 3rd and long, they're running the ball. I really don't understand. But I think the biggest question for the Falcons is, I know we're halfway through the season, but who is going to be their future quarterback? Because if it's not Mariota and you're going with the rookie, why not throw him in there and get him some reps and see what he's got? I mean, the Titans did it with Malik Willis. Number 19, Indianapolis Colts. Yo, I don't care what anybody says. I know there's a ton of people out there that hated the move. I don't understand why so many people are so upset about what Jim Irsay did, hiring Jeff Saturday as the new interim head coach. Oh, but there's a process. What if he would have interviewed people that were qualified and he still hired Jeff Saturday? Would you be okay if they still went through the process and wasted everyone's time? He wanted Jeff Saturday. What is the big deal? So Jeff Saturday is the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. First order of business. Bring Matt Ryan back under center. The Sam Ellinger experience? It's over. And guess what happened? The team seemed to respond to this. The team blocked better. The team tackled better. They looked like an actual team that can compete in the NFL. They looked like the Indianapolis Colts, which they haven't looked like in quite some time. All this did was make me wonder how bad of a coach or how much Frank Reich was really disliked by the people inside the locker room, the other coaches. Jonathan Taylor returns to the field, and guess what? I'm excited because I've had him on most of my fantasy teams all year. He came out and had the best game of the year. And you know what? Guess what? Because I was in Buffalo up at the game, I wasn't really paying attention. And I never moved him to my starting lineups in 3 out of 4 of my leagues. But it's cool. I promise it's cool. Colts get a win. We all know how hard that is in the NFL. I am curious to see how the rest of this season pans out for the Colts and Jeff Saturday. Number 18, Green Bay Packers. So maybe the Packers are not done yet. They sure looked good on Sunday night, didn't they? Sunday afternoon against the Cowboys, rookie receiver Christian Watson went off. Some may call this his breakout game. My dude only had 4 catches, but 3 of them were for tutties, and he went over 100 yards for the first time in his career. I don't think there were many people out there that thought that the Packers could hang with the Cowboys in this game. But not only did they hang with them, but they beat them. Not gonna lie, this game pretty much saved the season in Green Bay. Number 17, Los Angeles Chargers. For the first time all season long, this Chargers defense actually looked like the Chargers defense that we heard all about in the offseason. They played a really tough first half, and they held the Niners in check. All those weapons that they have over there held them in check. But it was the time of possession leaning so far in favor of San Francisco that had the Chargers defense on the field just for way too much time. And that just translated to them fading away just when it mattered most late in the game. This was a tough loss for the Chargers. Number 16, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Bucs played over in Germany. And all those fans that came out because they wanted to see the GOAT play, they wanted to see this man Tom Brady throw the ball. And instead, they got to watch a running back named Rachaad White account for 65% of the Bucs offense. The Bucs have been trying to establish their run game, and they chose this day to do that. Bucs came out, established a big lead over the Seahawks, and just cruised to the finish line. Tom Brady is now 4-0 in the international game. Bucs move to 5-5, get back to 500. Because of Falcons' loss, the Bucs move right back into first place. It's weird how that works. Number 15, New England Patriots. Patriots were on a bye week. Their record is 5-4. I had them at 14 last week. Now I have them at 15. Number 14, Washington Commanders. Did you hear that Carson Wentz is ready to return? Man, listen. If Carson Wentz takes back his starting role over Taylor Heinicke, I'm literally going to lose all respect for Ron Rivera. Taylor Heinicke has literally straight up transformed this team with his play and his energy. An example of that energy was, if you watched the game last night, that very controversial hit on Heinicke when he kneeled, the penalty that literally sealed the game. Heinicke jumped up and celebrated that call as if he dove over the top in the Super Bowl for the game-winning touchdown. Because he knew that he just led his team in beating the last undefeated team in the NFL. And there was sheer excitement in this man. Every team should want that from their quarterback. Washington's ball control, the time of possession in this game, they had the ball for over 40 minutes. There's only 60 minutes in a game. I mean, Washington got lucky, right? That face mask on Dallas Goedert, we all saw that. No call. That was just a really bad no call. But nonetheless, Washington pulls out an impressive win and legit inserts themselves right in the middle of the playoff race in the NFC. Number 13, Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals were on a bye week. They sit at 5-4. I had them at 11 last week. They're now 13. Number 12, Tennessee Titans. So Ryan Tannehill returns to the Titans, thus ending the Malik Willis embarrassment, at least for now. Now you can tell that he's rusty, or he's just terrible, because the Titans offense was forced to punt on their first 6 possessions. Nick Westbrook-Akine had himself a game. I say a game, but I really mean half because, yeah. But it was the Titans defense, as banged up as they were on the defensive front. Man, they were in Russell Wilson's face all game long. And when the Broncos had a chance to tie the game or even win the game, it was that defense with the strip sack that sealed the win. Number 11, Seattle Seahawks. Despite losing the game in Germany against the Bucs, Geno Smith, he still looked good. The Bucs did an amazing job of taking Kenneth Walker out of this game. So that means the offense fell on the shoulders of Geno Smith. The Seahawks got down early and then had to climb their way out. And their comeback attack fell short. But they fell short not because of lack of effort. Seahawks take the loss, drop to 6-4, making it very interesting in the NFC West. Number 10, Dallas Cowboys. All right, the Green Bay Packers put up 9 points against the Lions last week. Now they come into Arlington to take on the Cowboys, and that defense, which in my opinion has been elite all season long, but keeping with the theme, I was wrong. Cowboys defense just didn't show up. Offensively, Dak throws 2 interceptions to the same player, and both of those turnovers translated to touchdown for the Packers. Now, CeeDee Lamb, he had himself a nice game. He had a career-high 150 yards receiving, but that all gets wasted because the Cowboys blow a 2-touchdown lead to the Packers. This game goes to overtime where the Cowboys turn the ball over on downs. Instead of kicking a field goal, they go for it on fourth down and ultimately lose the game to the Packers. But I do have a question for Cowboy fans that are watching. You still them boys? Because you ain't making no noise. I'm just asking for a friend because you know I'm not a Cowboy hater. I hate seeing the Cowboys lose. Number 9. San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell returns from the IR, and they're even running the ball with Deebo Samuels. There's some weapons on that Niners offense. Oh, but wait. They also have a killer defense. One of the best in football. Sunday Night Football against the Chargers, it was that defense that shined. The Chargers had a chance to tie the game with a touchdown, win the game with an extra point, but that Niners offense was all up in Justin Herbert's face. You force a turnover, get the ball back, seal the win, move to 5-4, which is a half game behind the Seahawks, and the Niners are back in business. Number 8, Baltimore Ravens. Ravens were on a bye week. They are at 6-3. I had them at 8 last week. They are at 8 this week. Nothing has changed. Let's move on. Number 7, New Jersey Giants. So the Texans entered the state of New Jersey to take on the Giants on Sunday. The proud owners of the worst run defense in the NFL. I think the Giants may have known that because Daniel Jones turned around and handed the ball to Saquon Barkley 35 times in this game. It's 2022. Teams don't do that anymore. Now, because of that game plan, this was anything but a flashy game. But you know what? That's how Giants have been winning games all year. It may not look pretty, but they are stacking W's. I mean, they're one of 5 teams in the NFL that have 7 or more wins. That's all that really matters, am I right? Number 6, New Jersey Jets. Jets were on a bye week. They still sit at 6-3. I had them at 6 last week. They remain at 6. And by all other accounts, all the expert power rankings, I have them higher than all of them. And as much as I hate the Jets, I don't understand how that's possible. Number 5, Buffalo Bills. Nope. All I'll say is this. It's been over 10 years since I've been to a Bills home game. The Bills have changed. The Bills are a much different team than they were 10 years ago. They must have knew that John Larson was coming to a game, and they decided to digress and go back and lose a game in the manner that they would have 10 years ago. I thought they were over it. I thought they were done doing this. Last year, game of the year, Bills lose to the Chiefs. This year, game of the year, Bills lose to the Vikings. No. Number 4, Miami Dolphins. This game against the Browns on Sunday was Tua's best game he's ever played in the NFL. He didn't just rely on Tyreek Hill. He spread the love. He hit 8 different people. You take that performance there and sprinkle in the 49ers run game that now resides in Miami, the Dolphins offense looks like a legitimate threat. I guess I was wrong about Tua. I guess I was wrong about this offense I guess I was wrong about Tua. I guess I was wrong about this Dolphins offense. This Dolphins win moves them in first place of the AFC East, and my stomach just turned. The NFL has been put on notice. The Dolphins are legit. The Dolphins are real, and the Dolphins are coming. Number 3, Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles came into Monday Night Football against Washington 8-0. And there were a lot of people out there judging their 8 wins. It was almost like they were due for a bad game. They were due for a loss. And that's what they got. A bad game and a loss. The Eagles committed 4 turnovers in this game and a really, really bad penalty at the end of the game. And that late hit on the quarterback after Heineke kneeled down was very controversial. A lot of Eagles fans were pissed off about it. They were even more mad about the non-face mask call on Dallas Goedert. But you can't blame penalties because the bad breaks that you get in this game, they go your way in another game. It all equals out. The reason why the Eagles lost this game is because they beat themselves. For one thing, they couldn't keep Washington off the field on offense. Dude, Washington ran 34 more plays than the Eagles did. The Eagles were on offense on the field less than 20 minutes. Now, that being said, the Eagles' defense held their own. They played well, but their offense didn't cut it against a pretty bad Washington team. All right, maybe not bad, mediocre. Nonetheless, Eagles get their first loss of the year, drop to 8-1. Still in first place, but the Giants are creeping. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs versus Jaguars at Arrowhead in Kansas City. This game is going to get ugly quick. No, sir. This was not a dominant win. Thankfully for the Chiefs, there's no such thing as style points in the NFL. A win is a win. Chiefs get that win, go to 7-2, and that's really all that matters. But we need to talk about Kadarius Toney. How did this man end up on the Chiefs? This team was they were good enough without him. Who allowed this man to join this offense? Did you see the play where he got bumped at the line and adjusted his gloves mid-route and then proceeded to catch the ball? It was absolutely insane. Look for it. If you have not seen it, Google it and find it. It's worth the watch. Number 1, Minnesota Vikings. For weeks, there has been so much talk by fans, by experts, even by me, about how the Vikings just don't win games easily. They got to make everything hard. People are out there questioning the validity of their 7 wins. I almost said 8, but then realized this was their 8. Well, this game on Sunday, up in snowy Orchard Park, hopefully this shuts people up because the Vikings are a good team. And if you didn't watch this game, you didn't see the in-depth highlights. Because if you just watched a 45-second or a minute-and-a-half highlight, you didn't see the insanity that went down in this game. There were highlight plays by both teams. You need to go watch that 20-minute highlight video of this game, and it's worth it. I was actually in the house, was in the stadium watching this insanity go down. The Vikings came back from down 17 points, trailing 27-10 late in the third quarter. Greg Joseph doinks an extra point, proving to be a huge extra point later in the game. Dalvin Cook drops a sure touchdown on the goal line on 4th down and half a yard. Kirk Cousins gets stopped by the Bills defense to turn the ball over on downs. Replay later shows that the Bills had 12 men on the field and it wasn't called. Ultimately, it didn't matter because you know who won this game. The Bills take over the ball on the half-yard line and Josh Allen muffs the snap. And the ball is recovered by the Vikings in the end zone for a touchdown. The Vikings are up 3 with 41 seconds left. Then Josh Allen marches the Bills down the field. They are in the red zone and kick a field goal to tie the game, sending it to overtime. The Vikings win the coin toss because the Bills don't know how to win coin tosses. The Vikings go down, kick a field goal. The Bills get the ball back in overtime. Josh Allen starts moving the ball, lowering his shoulder, blowing defenders off. And ultimately, he throws an interception. The Vikings win an amazing game. They're calling it the game of the year. And I haven't even talked about Justin Jefferson, 193 yards receiving. A catch for the ages. People are talking about it in the same light as the Odell Beckham catch. In my opinion, Justin Jefferson is the MVP of the NFL right now. 4th and 18. I mean, the game is over, and this dude makes this catch. How did that happen? This is going to go down as one of the greatest regular season football games ever, and I love the fact that I can say I was there for it. The Vikings are the number 1 team in my rankings, just where they should be. They should be number 1 in everyone else's rankings too. All right, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was probably really weird without the profanity because that's me. It's very difficult to think that profanity is what makes me me. But let me know what you thought. Let me know. I'll keep it clean moving forward if I can. Unless it was too weird for some of you, you just let me know. But as always, thank you for watching. Love making these videos. I hope you love watching them. I will see you next week. Love you guys.